Okay. Yep, getting ready for it. Okay. Yep.
Um, are you able to get the YouTube live link right now?
Yep.
Thank you.
Let me share that with a chat.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi. Long time no see.
Yes, long time no see. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you.
I love how festive your background is.
Yes, Chinese New Year is coming up.
Yes,
Next
it is.
month.
I was actually I was right next door to a Chinese restaurant yesterday for dinner, and they were all decorated and everything. It was great to see.
Yes, yes. I love Chinese New Year.
Yes.
So much food and red envelope,
Yep.
Yeah, great to have you here, Amanda.
Yes, I'm so happy to be back. It's
Yeah.
like my husband and I were laughing because we were like, well, it feels like so long ago that we did this last time, but now it's all coming back to us again.
Yes, PPP
Yeah.
round 2.
Yeah.
Yes. We actually have a Zoom, and then we have Facebook Live, and we also have YouTube Live. So
Oh, wow.
if the room gets full, people, they can only join the YouTube Live or the Facebook Live.
All right. We're streaming all over the place. It's good.
Yes, yes. We gotta make sure that everyone who want to learn about it, they get informed.
Yes.
Mhm. We're
I didn't know I was muted this whole time. Hi, Amanda.
Yeah.
I was like, he was quiet.
She's talking to herself. She's like, I don't know why no one's responding to me.
We're getting started. No,
Yeah.
I was actually trying to set up the Facebook room for, I think, actually, I think I'm going to ask support. Well, we will be getting started soon. So
Okay.
everybody's anticipating what you got to share.
Oh boy. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible for everyone.
I'm still sending out, reminders, tell them to join, because, sometimes people forget.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
So in 1 minute, we'll be getting started.
Hey.
You're addressing something very colorful too. Did you intend it for some festivity here?
I actually, so right after this, I have to take my daughter to her first competition dance
Wow.
event. So I am ready to go straight from here to do makeup and then take her over. So
I'm excited.
yeah,
What kind of
she loves ballet. That's her main focus is ballet, but she will be competing in lyrical and jazz also today. So,
Wow.
yep.
She's very talented.
She loves it. That's the best part about it is that she just loves dancing. So it's fun to watch her.
We still got to do a Zoom session just about how you are getting your kids to be home, doing home education.
Homeschool.
Oh, yes.
We want to learn from you.
Well, and we actually were homeschooling our kids or online schooling our kids for 2 years before all of this happened. So we were really lucky because we were already in like the swing of things.
Yeah, you prepared 2 years ahead.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's give like maybe 2 more minutes as people are hopping on. So you got to get off the chat like maybe in 1 hour. Just want to double check.
Yeah.
Okay. So we really don't have much time left then, because I know there's a lot of people who want to ask questions here.
Okay. Yes. And I've prepared some obviously information up front, and I'll walk you through the application process, but hopefully we'll have plenty of time for questions.
Sounds good. Okay, so why don't we get started? Welcome to our round 2, PPP 2. My name is Chen Ping, and I'll be your host for today. I'm a senior marketing director at World Financial Group, and I'm really excited to be able to host this event with my teammates. We have a very great guest speaker today to share with you everything about PPP round 2. And I believe that Amanda has everything we need to know, because we are getting to the direct source. And one good thing I really love and appreciate is that, you know, I was introduced to Amanda through Joseph Amato, who is the district director of SBA. So when I first was introduced, Amanda was so helpful, and we've been doing Zoom sessions with so many people so many times, and we're excited for PPP 2. It's been quite some time we've been doing the Zoom session, but I'm excited. So we're gonna save time because Amanda has jam-packed schedule today. And I know that a lot of people may have questions at the end, because, you know, we do want to get to know and understand it well. So all the time to Amanda. Here you go, Amanda, the mic to you.
Thank you. And I am so happy to be back. I was mentioning earlier, it feels like it's like a reunion of everyone getting back together. So really happy to see everyone's faces. And I'm just so honored to be able to help you through this process. So today we're going to do 2 things. I'm going to share a document here, but we're going to go through some high-level information about first draw and second draw. And then I'll actually take you through the application that you can complete with us to get this started. So first of all, I wanted to let you know my email address. So if you want to get a hold of me, if you want to ask questions, ppp2021@hppcoach.com. We will be sending out additional information via WeChat, the links for the application. So you'll get a lot of this information after this meeting here today, but wanted to at least give you that to begin with. So I already mentioned first draw and second draw. So what does that mean to people? So first draw means I am a business owner or I'm a self-employed individual, and I have not previously received a PPP loan. So if that's you, if you have not received a PPP loan yet, you would follow the first draw process and application. First draw is available to, you can apply today. We will get that application over to our lender, and you will be able to hopefully go through and get approved and get your PPP funding for the first time. Second draw is available for those businesses and self-employed individuals who received a previous PPP loan. So when I refer to second draw, those are people who already received their first PPP loan, but would like to apply for a second PPP loan, okay? So I wanted to get that out first and foremost, because we'll be talking about both today. So I want you to know which group of people you will qualify for. Okay, so let's go through first draw really quickly. Again, this is only for people who have not received a previous PPP loan. The first thing that you need to do is ensure that you qualify, okay? Qualification is fairly simple. It's if you have under 500 employees, and those are W-2 employees. You can also apply if you're a 1099 or a sole proprietor, and you have need to be in business before February 15th of 2020. Okay, so those are that's generally how you would qualify. Then you would need to, obviously you need to be a resident of the United States. I think that goes without saying. And then, so I just want to interrupt. Joseph is actually on the line with us today. So can we bring him up to unmute him?
Yep, Joseph is already the co-host, and I'm gonna say,
Perfect.
My goodness, Joseph always surprises us and always going the extra mile. So let's give a round of applause for welcoming Joseph Amato for the new year. My goodness, Joseph.
Thanks, Joe, for joining.
So exciting.
All right.
We have the direct source now.
Joe, feel free to chime in whenever you want to add your color commentary. I know we've been working a lot on this, so just, oh, we can't hear you. Hold on. Yeah, there you go.
Now can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, Chimpeng, thank you so much for doing this again. And Amanda, thank you for taking the lead on this. And for all intents and purposes in PPP2, Amanda is the
I think is that my connection or his connection?
I think
it's Joe's.
Joe, you're breaking up. I'm sure he's saying something really lovely about me right now.
I've basically handed everything over to her minute by minute basis. Can you hear me?
We can a little bit better now.
No, can you hear me at all? Well, this isn't working. I'm on my phone, so I'm not sure if you. Am I talking? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can. We can hear you now, Joe.
Okay, I just wanted to let everyone know, and raise your hand, Amanda, if you can hear me. At this point, Amanda's done such a great job with PPP1 that and I've been so busy with not only getting people a website and everything to work that I've handed everything over to Amanda. She does an amazing job. I am available to her on a minute-by-minute basis, especially on more complicated deals. So you're being well served by what Amanda's doing and what she's doing through HPP. And you will know, Chimpeng and everyone else, thank you for putting this together. I will always be available to all of you via WeChat, getting you into the system, handing you off to Amanda.
Okay, we lost him again. All right, Joe, we're losing you again, but I think we got the gist of what he was saying, I hope.
And letting her rock and roll with this. So,
okay.
Hello? Can you hear me,
Yeah,
Amanda?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit now, but we heard the most of it, Joe. So Thank you for the kind words.
You're welcome. Let's get going.
All right, sounds good. So, so we were just heading into gathering documentation. So once you know that you qualify for a first draw loan, start gathering the documentation that we would need from you before you go in and start completing the DocuSign. So those documents include your 2019 tax return, your payroll documentation for your calculation basis. Now, this is the cool part for everyone to know, and this applies for first draw and second draw. You can use your full year 2019, your full year 2020, or rolling past 12 months, or what they call trailing 12 months. So, so you can use what is most advantageous for you. So some people had a stellar 2019, not so great 2020. Other people had a really wonderful 2020, particularly in the back end of the year. So you want to pick whatever is going to work best for you to help you maximize your loan. Now, I know there's probably quite a few people that have 1099s today. So I want to point out that you can use your 1099 for from 2029, or sorry, not 2029, 2019, 1099, too many nines in there. So you can use the 2019 1099 as your basis for the calculation. If you have employees, we'll need your 940 from 2019 and your 941s that are available to you. You might not have Q4 yet, but all of your 941s that you can send over. The front and back of your driver's licenses, any owners over 20% need to provide their front and back of their driver's license. That's one of the #1 reasons why we kick back applications, is because we don't have the back of the driver's license. So make sure that you do that. And then if you are an entity, we'll need your articles of incorporation, so we know the dates that you were incorporated. So that's basically it on the first draw. And then we will send you the link to the application. We've moved everything to DocuSign, which you'll see here in a second, which is much, much easier for everyone to follow along and make sure that they're completing the application accurately and thoroughly. Okay, so that's first draft. Now let's move on to the people on the chat today that already received a PPP loan who are looking to get a second draw loan. Okay, so now we're going to go through the same kind of process here. Ensure that you qualify. So generally for qualification for second draw loans, you have to have 300 employees per location or less. But then you also have to have 25% or more of an impact to your gross revenue in any quarter of 2020 versus that identical quarter in 2019. Okay, so we'll go into what that looks like here in a second, but you have to have that gross revenue or gross receipts impact of at least 25% or more in any quarter in 2020 versus the identical quarter in 2019. Now, some of you might be on the phone call saying, well, I wasn't in business in 2019, or I was only in business in Q4 of 2019. There are special exceptions for those if you were in business prior to February 15th of 2020. For instance, we would compare maybe Q2 of 2020 to Q1 of 2020, or Q3 of 2020 to Q2 of 2020. So there are some things to do, different ways that we can do that, but it's only available for those people who were not fully in business in 2019. Okay. Second thing to do is gather your documentation. Again, before you go in and complete the application in DocuSign, we will need to have your SBA PPP loan number. You can find that on your original closing documents or on your forgiveness application if you've submitted your forgiveness application already. We will also need to have the original amount of your loan. Now, luckily, if you used my services in the past, we do have all of that information for you. But if you're new to us, you will definitely need to provide that because it's the first thing they ask for on the application. We will need your 2019 tax return, your payroll documentation. Again, the same thing applies for your second draw. You can use full year 2019 as your basis for your calculation, 2020 full year, or your rolling past 12 months. Now, there is something a little bit different here, and we explain it on the actual application when we get to that. But if you are a restaurant or a hospitality firm, if you are in the NICS code that starts with 72, you can actually calculate your average monthly payroll just like you did before, where you would take your payroll, it's still capped at 100,000 per employee, divide that by 12 to get your average monthly payroll. But if you're in NICS code 72, you can multiply by 3.5 to get your loan amount. If you are not in NICS code 72, then you would multiply by 2.5, just like what we did last time. Okay. All right. We will need your 940s from 2019, or your 940 from 2019, your 941s that you have available to you for 2020. And then you will need, if you're a 1099, you'll need to provide your 1099, obviously, for that. Driver's licenses, owners over at 20% or over need to provide the front and back of the driver's license, and then the articles of incorporation. Okay. If you are a sole proprietor who you're not incorporated, or you're receiving 1099 income, you can just simply re-upload your 1099, and I'll show you where to do that. And then you submit your application. So before I go ahead and do that, because that's how I'm going to wrap up my formal comments on today's call, I just want to give you a little bit of an idea of what to expect from us. It is going to be very similar, hopefully even better than the experience that you had with us last time. We will receive your application, we will review it, we will let you know if we need any further information from you. But we are committed to keeping you informed at every step of your application until it gets to the lender, at which point our strategic lending partners have largely automated most of their process, which is great news for all of us. But they then will start providing you updates once the application gets to the lender. So that's a little bit of a handoff, but we feel that this is going to work much better than last time, because we know what we're doing on our side. The lender knows what's happening on within their four walls. And we both have increased our capabilities to be able to keep you informed of your status. So that should be good news for everyone. Now, one thing what we learned from the last round is that once you complete your application with us and we actually submit it to the lender is going to be sending you additional documents that you are going to need to sign. And where we had a bit of trouble last time is everything went well on our side, but then closing documents weren't signed, or other documents that were needed to be signed were not signed. So we just want to make sure that everyone's very aware that there will be additional requests coming to you from Greater Commercial Lending, more than likely. So watch out for those in your emails, so that we can make sure that you're successful in getting your money. Okay. So I'm going to preempt a couple of questions just because I think these are probably on your mind, and then we'll go through the application. So can I apply through HPP and our strategic lenders if I used a different lender before? And the answer is yes. You can obtain your second draw loan from your lender of choice. So you don't necessarily have to go through us, although we would love for you to go through us. But you can use your lender of choice. Okay. Second question. If I applied using W-2 payroll for the first round, but now I want to use a 1099 because your situation has changed, can I? And the answer is yes. These are independent applications. So if you want to use, if you use W-2 income before, like if you had employees and you had a bunch of W-2s, and now you're just receiving 1099 income, you can make that change. Okay. How do I apply for forgiveness on my first PPP loan? We are getting a ton of questions about this coming in. So I just want to make sure that everyone's aware you need to apply for forgiveness directly with the lender who is servicing your loan. Okay. Now, if you came through us, through me before, who's servicing your loan is Fountainhead Commercial Capital. And maybe we can take a note, we can get the actual website to everyone, but you need to go to their website and there's a PPP forgiveness page where you would start the application process for forgiveness. Now you only need your email and your SBA loan number to begin that process with Fountainhead. So again, if you came through us, you can go to the Fountainhead Commercial Capital website and start your forgiveness process there. Now, we also get a ton of questions right now. I haven't applied for forgiveness. Should I apply for forgiveness first, or should I apply for my second draw loan? And our advice right now is go and apply for your second draw loan first, okay? Apply for second draw, get that out of the way, and then you can circle back and apply for forgiveness. But we want to make sure that we get all of the applications in for the second draw, because we know people are continuing to need this money to help operate their businesses. So go with that second draw first. And it looks like Joe might have a comment on this. So Joe, do you have a comment? Can he get unmuted? Maybe.
Rose his hand. Let me try to unmute him.
Okay.
Can I be heard? Am I heard?
Yeah. You're still a little bit hard to hear, Joe, but.
Well, how to do this? Hold on one second.
Okay.
Maybe connect, call in with your phone audio.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, when it comes to forgiveness right now, as Amanda was alluding to, it's a lot better or a lot easier right now for you.
We lost him again. Joe, we lost you. Every time you make a point.
Not apply for forgiveness, having a problem.
Okay, I got the answer for him.
Okay, I might just chat it, and then I'll
Chat it.
I'll voice it for you, Joe.
Oh, let's see if can you sound like Joe? Can you do Joe's voice?
Oh, I'm not a good actor like that.
No,
I know what he was saying. Joseph said it's probably a better idea not to apply for loan forgiveness application right now because it may delay your PPP2 money. So for some of you guys, I think that's pretty straightforward. Don't apply for loan forgiveness now. Apply for PPP2 first.
Yep. Prioritize PPP second draw first, definitely. Okay, so those are some of the questions I think people were having on their minds. So I'm going to go through the application real quick, and I'm going to do it exactly like how you will do it. So, and I'm totally going to make up information, so just so you know. But this is what it's going to look like. You're going to need to put in your name and your email, okay? Oh, is Aaron trying?
I think he's talking to someone else.
Okay.
We're gonna do Q&A afterwards, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So-
I accidentally opt out the chat, so I cannot ask questions. So can you guys somehow I accidentally clicked it? Can you
Yeah, we'll do Q&A afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So you're going to hit continue. You do have the option of finishing later once you're in here. But what we did, every single red box is required. And again, this is the second draw application. I will point out where the first draw is a little bit different. But you can see if you hover over, we give you instructions on how to complete each and every one of these, okay? So it's pretty easy. So the first one is obviously you're going to select what your organization is. If you received 1099 money directly to your social security number, you're going to want to put independent contractor, and then follow along on what your business entity is actually. If you have a DBA, you can put your DBA in here. Your year established, we're actually probably going to start making this required because we found out yesterday that it is required, even though it says if applicable, we will be making this required. And this is the year that your business was established. If you are a 1099, you're going to use the first date of that 1099 period as that year established. Your business legal name, we want that to match your tax documents. So if you're a business and you have an EIN, it would match your business tax return. If you are an individual, and you're receiving income to your social security number, it will be your name. Okay. Your NICS code, get out Google. Okay. You're going to have to Google this. But when you think about the goods or services that you provide, you're going to put that in and say, ask Google what the NICS code is for that good or service, and put your NICS code in here that best describes. Business address, we have street address, obviously city and state and zip code. Your business TIN, again, your EIN, if you have an EIN for your business, use your EIN. And then your social security, if you're receiving income directly on like a 1099 to your social security number, then you would put that. Primary contact phone number, primary contact full name, and email address. This email address is important. This is where all of the follow-up documentation is going to go. So if you want to get your closing documents, you want to get all of the communications from the lender to complete this process, this is the email address you are going to use. Make sure it's right. Okay. We already had some people say, oh my goodness, I had a typo in my email address. Don't let that be you. Make sure you double check that field. Okay. Average monthly payroll. As I mentioned before, you can use full year 2019. You can use full year 2020, or you can use trailing 12 months. Just like last time, it's still capped at $100,000 per employee or individual. And then you would divide by 12 months to get your average monthly payroll. Then you would multiply, if you're not in NICS code 72, you would multiply by 2.5. If you're in NICS code 72, you would multiply by 3.5. And then that's going to be your loan amount, okay? Number of employees, we get this question a lot right now. How do I calculate my number of employees? You're going to calculate your number of employees based off of the period you selected. So for instance, if I selected 2019, it will be your gross number of employees from 2019. If I selected 2020, it'll be your gross number of employees at the end of 2020. If I use that trailing 12 months, gross number of employees at the end of that period. Okay, so that is how you would calculate that. Now you'll see here that there are more options around how you will use this loan, because that has changed. So before, if you might remember, there was payroll costs, utility costs, rent, mortgage, interest. Now you have all kinds of other options here. The one that you must select, and we put it in the notes, you have to select at least payroll, because everyone knows you have to use at least 60% of this to payroll. And then the other 40% can be used in these other areas. Okay, so select what you think you're going to use this for. Oh, and I just put this in, so I'm gonna have to correct that because you can't read it. But then the next, this is only for second draw. If you're following along and you're a first draw person, obviously you don't have this line on your application here, but you're going to need to put in your first draw loan number and then your first draw loan amount. And Joseph is raising his hand again.
Hey, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Better.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
No,
No, you're still like a robot, Joe.
make sure that everybody realizes that. Hear me now? Oh,
Kind
my
of.
you.
You might need
working
to.
better.
No, not really, Joe. So you might need to still chat.
So let me share. So Joe, on your Zoom, you should be able to say something about switch to phone audio. You should click on switch to phone audio. If you're using your phone audio, they're going to use your phone number. So that's going to have much better connection. Hope that works.
I just tried my phone. Is that better?
Yeah,
Is that better?
that's better.
Yes, hopefully it's still better.
Okay. Just remember to explain to. Is it better? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm going to chat you. The 60-40. Remember the 60-40
Yes.
split. It's in PPP
Yeah, 60-40.
1N again in PPP 2.
Yep, got it. So
Okay,
60,
that's all.
60, thank you, Joe. So 60%
Yes. So
of,
you have to spend 60% or more. Okay.
I got it. So 60%, at least 60% of your loan needs to still be used for payroll. Okay, that has not changed. You got to get that right because we don't want you not to get forgiven. So at least 60% needs to be payroll. The other 40%, up to 40% can be these other areas. Or you could just use 100% to payroll. It's completely up to you, but you have to at least use 60% to payroll. Okay. All right. So the next thing that's a little bit different for second draw that's not on the first draw application is this quarter over quarter comparison. So we know that you qualify for the loan. So, and this is confusing a lot of people. So I want to take some time on this. This first box is your 2020 quarter that you are selecting to do your comparison against. Okay. What I tell people is look at your 2020 financials and pick the quarter that you had the least revenue in, the least gross receipts. Start there and then compare it to that same quarter in 2019. If you had more than or 25% or more of a reduction in gross receipts or gross revenue, then you qualify and just use that quarter as the reference. Okay. Alternatively, I've also said, hey, look at the quarter that you had the best revenues in 2019 and compare it against your 2020, because that's another way to do it. Because hopefully maybe you made less in 2020 that quarter. So it really depends on how you want to look at it, but you want to find at least that 25% or more difference quarter over quarter for your gross receipts. Okay. So all you need to do here is literally type in the quarter that you selected. So if you want to say I selected Q1 2020, that's what you would type in. And then you would type in Q1 2019 here. Okay. That's all we need in those two boxes is what quarter are you looking at? And then you would put in your gross receipts right here.
What do you want?
Okay. So, and that can be any quarter from 2020 compared to 2019. Right? Then you would put in the gross receipts. So if you put in, like I said here, Q1 2020, you would put in your gross receipts for that quarter. Now, how do you substantiate gross receipts? You can provide an income statement. You can provide a P&L. You can provide commission statements if you have something like that. Any formal document that shows us your gross receipts or revenue in that quarter, we will review it. Now, it does say that we can accept bank statements. I will tell you right now, we don't like accepting bank statements. It's a little, because it's a lot of data and it's not overly clear, but we will if it's like worst case scenario, if you don't have anything else that we can use. Okay. But don't make that your first choice. Try to find something else that we can use to substantiate these numbers. Okay. So you'll put in your gross receipts for that quarter, and then you would put in your gross receipts for the quarter that you're comparing. All right. So hopefully that's clear. Then owner name. So if these are the owner, any owner over 20% or over will, you'll need to put in their name, title, ownership percentage, their social security number if it's an individual, the EIN if it's a business entity that owns the company, and the address. And then you can fill in down here if you have multiple owners. If you are a 1099, this would be your information all over again that you would need to put in those boxes. Then if you remember the last time we had different yes or no questions, read these questions very, very clearly. There are some questions on here if you answer the wrong way, you will not be able to proceed forward. So please read these very closely. We did put in initials here because remember, a lot of people were forgetting to initial these two. We do need your initials. And then go through and read these and check yes or no. And I'm not going to go through each and every one of them, but some of them are no and some of them are yeses. So just make sure you remember that. Particularly number 6 is a yes, hopefully, for you to proceed forward. So make sure that you read those. And then we go down here and read each of these. These are what you're basically certifying that you understand as part of your second draw application. And you can go through an initial and initial, and then you would sign, put your name and title. And then here's all of the required attachments down here at the bottom. And hopefully this will serve as a bit of a checklist for everyone. So like I said before, tax return, your proof of payroll, your quarter gross revenue. And I don't know what happened with these boxes. I'm gonna have to correct them, but your 2019 gross revenue, your 941, 940, articles of incorporation, front and back of the driver's license, and addendum A if needed. And that's if you own multiple companies, okay? So it's very clear on what you need to upload. And then once you get through all of that, you can click finish and it will come over to us and we'll start reviewing this process. So I am going to stop. I mean, that's basically it that you need to know on that application. We tried to make it as simple as we could to help you all get through this process much more effectively and limit the amount of back and forth we need to do between us so that we can get your application over as quickly as possible to our lenders so that they can get you your funding. So I see there's a lot of questions coming in. I'm ready to open up and start answering questions if that's okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna moderate these questions. So
Perfect.
And people who just chat in the chat in the box. But if some of the questions are answered, please do not ask again. We gotta take time wisely. Amanda has to be offline in another 12 minutes. We don't have that much time here.
Yeah.
Okay, first question is 1099-D 2019 tax return too?
Yes.
1099s, we need tax return too?
Yes, you would submit your individual tax return.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we can use the whole gross receipt and we could qualify for the higher amount, not Schedule C.
Correct. Yeah, you would use your tax return, we would collect, but we would use your 1099 as the basis for the calculation.
Joe, you want to say something, Joe?
If somebody can hear me, yeah.
Absolutely. We can hear you now.
Okay. Now with the 1099s, it gets very confusing and Amanda's correct.
Yeah.
Now what's happening with 1099s is previous PPP, you used your 1099. And if you had a Schedule C, you included that as well. With
Joe, we're losing you again. It's like uncanny.
Okay, Joe, we're losing you.
Good. The problem is,
Okay, go ahead for another second.
Okay, okay. You have to basically be able to still provide either bank statements or a P&L, even if you're a 1099 for eligibility.
Yeah.
And Amanda, can you sort of explain that?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, you did. All right, great.
I just want to clarify, for P&L, we have 2019 tax return. Do you need P&L for 2020 as well, since a lot of people haven't filed their taxes?
No.
So you do not. No.
Yeah. So to do your gross for second draw, we only need.
Good, Amanda.
Yeah, we only need the one quarter in 2020 that you've selected as for your calculation of that gross receipt impact. We do need a P&L or an income statement or commission statement from that quarter. Okay, we don't need the whole year. We just need that one quarter, and then we need the same quarter in 2019 and that information for that too.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so Joe did clarify, said you can use your 2019 1099 for PPP 1. You can use it again for PPP 2, just for throwing out there.
That's correct.
Nikki asked, NACIS code S72 with sole proprietor can apply for 3.5 times payroll as well.
So it would be interesting if you're in NAICS code 72 as a sole proprietor. The NAICS code 72 is a restaurant, a hospitality firm. Those are typically the ones that fall in 72. So I don't know the particulars of this individual's situation, but if
I have
she's,
an answer. I
Yeah.
have an answer.
yeah,
You can be a sole proprietor and own a restaurant. You can be a sole
can.
proprietor and own a hotel. So yes,
Yep. Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
be, you would be a sole proprietor and get 3.5.
yes.
Yes, there's a lot of takeout restaurants out there and they're sole proprietor. Okay,
Yes.
okay, so we do want to remind everyone, it is better to delay loan forgiveness until you apply for PPP 2. So just as a reminder out there, Joe, just you must confirm that you have used your PPP 1 funds or intend to use PPP 1 funds before you can use eligible. You can be eligible for PPP 2. Or make sure your money, you already used the money before. And
Yes, you have to either use it or say you intend to use it. So that's one of the questions Amanda will be working on with you. And so if you haven't used any of the money yet, as long as you intend to use it, you can get PPP 2.
Yep.
And earlier I sent a link to find out your NAIC code. I just found out it's for the entire United States of America except for Pennsylvania. So I'll find that link and share with you guys for many people who are in PA. And then we will continue here. Can you share the website to start the application?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll send you the link and then you can chat it out, or I can even send it to you now if you want to, if we can chat it.
Yeah, we will we chat it out, but if you can chat it, that'll be good for people to start stating.
Perfect.
On top of that, Amanda, you are still Greater Lending, right? Or
so we have two strategic lending partners. Greater Commercial Lending is our primary. We also have Fountainhead Commercial Capital, who we will be partnering with too. So we use those two partners to fulfill the loans.
so when we apply for the link that you're sharing, is that the
that's with us. That's with us. Yeah. So that's coming to my team and we're reviewing everything. And once we believe you are ready to go and everything's correct, we will facilitate the process with those lenders.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But by using Amanda, what you're doing is both lenders have basically asked Amanda's group to pre-screen all the applications. So by going to her directly, you're making sure you're getting the right application in and you're not getting turned down. If you received an email from either Fountainhead or Greater Commercial Lending, they're just basically letting you know that the website is open and that they basically when us talking to them or us working with them.
Let me do the translation for Joe. Joe just said, go with Amanda.
They're normally asking us to basically do all the screen for them, so it saves them time. So you might have received something from them directly just to let you know PPP2 is going to be active. Amanda's group is actually doing all the pre-work to make sure that the applications are correct and you get funded.
Mm-hmm. And that we maximize. Yeah, we did. We're translating in between, but
it's
the
a
other
smarter move. That's why I handed everything off to Amanda, because her group did such a good job in PPP.
So,
Job
so
with PPP1. That's what Joe said. Go ahead, Amanda.
yeah. So one other thing is what's good about coming through us too, is that we also help make sure that you're maximizing your loan. If you were to go directly with a lender, you might just like, without coming on the phone call today, you might have just applied with your 2020 instead of 2019. So we know all of that stuff to help you make sure that you're maximizing your opportunity here.
And the good thing is that Amanda is great friends with Joseph. So they're always talking. So she gets everything she has. It's like the most fresh out of the White House. So we know, you know, this is reliable source. So good. So some of the people ask me, you know, is it okay to go with their local lenders or going with Amanda? Just from previous experience, we were able to help a lot of people put in applications. People were able to get a loan number within 24 to 72 hours. By having a low number means you're gonna get the money. It's just a matter of time. So Amanda may help you secure that. And of course, having the support of being strategically, you know, maximizing your funds is the most important part. Because I know that, you know, we look into so many banks. I believe only Amanda's bank or network allow us to get the maximum 1099. So a lot of sole proprietors and 1099s, you definitely want to be with Amanda. Others, you have your freedom of choice, but if you want just a better support, then, you know, it's a good idea to use. So
Champagne?
yes,
Champagne, I have something else. Okay, now this is from the SBA side. The process has changed.
Yes.
Before, when Amanda submitted the application, we immediately got the E-Tran number and the bank could fund usually within a couple of days. The SBA has changed the
translation, Amanda.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe, I can explain this because you're breaking up again.
Once Amanda submits to the bank, the SBA is now taking up to 2 days.
I can explain this. And we
Okay,
actually
good. You
explain this
understand what
in
I'm
our
saying?
email too. So
Just talk about the change
that's
in process.
cool. So
please.
so the SBA changed their process after the first draw loan. So as Joseph was mentioning, I could go in beforehand and actually get your SBA loan number right out of the gate, you know, like within those timeframes that you were mentioning. They changed the process because of how they're interacting with the banks and also to help prevent fraud from occurring. So my application goes to our strategic lending partners. So let's just say Greater Commercial Lending in this case. And then they review it and they have an automated process of getting that over to the SBA. The SBA then does some checking on their side, and it's 2 to 3 business days, then you will get the SBA loan number back from Greater Commercial Lending. So it's a little bit of a different process, but I think for all of our needs, it's a better process just because it's protecting everyone from fraud. It's protecting our tax dollars from being misused. And it's helping everyone out in the process. So there's just a little bit of a change there, but we explain that as we move through the process. We're trying to explain exactly what's coming next and what to expect. So you'll see that from us.
Sounds good. Thank you for the clarification. I was just saying how great you guys did the first time.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's a question. What is the range of each quarter?
What is the range of each quarter?
So I think people's question was that we know it's 3 months. So is it by January to, say, example, March, or can it be like February?
No,
April?
no, it's got to be
calendar
fixed
quarter.
quarters. Fixed
Yeah.
calendar quarters. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for clarification, it has to be calendar quarters, January to March or April to June, for example. And when you are comparing, you have to be comparing 2019, say example, first quarter to 2020 first quarter. It can't be like, I want to compare first quarter to the next year's third quarter. It's got to be that quarter to quarter comparison. Just throwing that clarification. But if you are a new business, very new business, and this is the time you could be reaching out to Amanda because she can strategically help you maximize.
As long as you started your business before February 15th, you can use the first quarter of 2020 against any of the second, third, or fourth quarters of 2020. but you have to be in business before February 15th.
That was so smooth, Joe. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's getting better, Joe.
Okay, we have, so I hope that clarifies the question.
Okay.
Not there anymore.
Okay. So I just saw a question. Sorry, I might jump ahead, but I should clarify this. If you have not received a first draw loan, you need to apply for the first draw loan. You can't go in and say, I'm going to get a first draw loan and then turn around and get a second draw loan right away. It's that there's apply for the first draw. Okay. So I just want to clarify that.
Okay, so here's another question. For people who have 1099, we only can average down for each quarter. There's not lease sale receipt. Is that right?
No, you're going to use.
We only heard you're going to use Joseph. If you want to, Joe, if you want to chat with me, the answer, we can get it out. But so they, for a 1099, I'm assuming that this person is like maybe a realtor or a commission based. Okay. So,
of second quarter 19.
Oh.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay. So, you are going to want to use, any type of documentation that you have that's formal, that's showing us how much commission you made in any given quarter. Then we can, give us the comparison quarter in 2019. So we do need to have some sort of documentation to validate your gross receipts. And so typically for realtors, what we've been having conversations about is your commission statements usually will work.
Okay, so one of the questions was that if some businesses were temporarily shut down without any activities.
Yep.
That would fall into the first quarter. So
yeah,
I mean, that would fall into the quarter question.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just scrolling down. A lot of questions here.
And I have about 7 minutes left, and then I have to go put makeup on my daughter for her dance competition. So I need a.
Okay, here's a question. Apply for the first round PPP, tax return from 1099, no business license. Can you apply?
Yes.
No.
What? No, Joe.
Not if they don't have a business license. No.
Well, they need to have a business. Yeah, they need to have some sort of. Well, Joe. So 1099. If they're a 1099.
Oh yes, then they'd be considered a sole proprietor. They don't need a business. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But no, you don't need to have Nevada license this time.
You do not need to have a Nevada business license this time.
Are we using same application? And if we did not apply for last PPP?
You use the links that I put in the chat.
You're frozen.
Yeah, you are, Joe. So I put the link to the first and second draw applications in the chat. Go look for them, use them. And that's how you get your process started. And then maybe we can send that out via WeChat too, or after this call.
So here's another question. If I apply for first, can I apply for this round? So if you didn't apply for the first round, you cannot apply. You can only apply for the first draw.
Yeah.
Still need 2020 941s if I use 2019 940 for calculation.
Yes. We need both.
I cannot find my LLC articles of organization. Can I submit LLC license and annual filing document to replace it?
We would prefer that we try to find the articles of incorporation or maybe the IRS tax document or the IRS document where you got your EIN number. We would prefer that. So because we have to be able to establish the date of establishment. So sometimes on the SOS documents, we don't see that, or it's the new filing date instead of the original one.
The question for NICA code for Uber driver, try Googling that for now, or we will provide it in our chats so you have a better idea. We have another question about receiving emails from Greater Nevada Credit Union. So probably use the link Amanda just shared with you.
Yep.
I have submitted PPP loan forgiveness before Christmas. Am I good to go for second round?
It depends on the status that you're at within the SBA review process. But what I would say is still apply, start with our process, still apply. Let's and get it over to the lender. And then we're working very closely with the SBA to get as many of those through as possible.
Okay, and then
yeah.
some people ask questions. What is the so we just created a second PPP WeChat. So if people want to hop on, can hop on. And then I also, that's more for the Chinese group of people. And then for we created a Facebook Messenger group for PPP updates. So you guys can also add me, so I can add you into the group chat. And for some of the people who are wondering, our YouTube link is the Attraction Financial LLC. So you can look it up. And let me continue and go back to the chat. A lot of questions here. I can't.
I just want to add, there's we will send out a link to find the NAIC code and also the link to get the article of incorporation. It's only $3 if they cannot find it. So yeah, we will send it out.
Yes, you can invest that $3 to get so many more dollars. Okay, good.
Okay, thank you. Just so people know, from the time they file the application with Amanda to the time to get their funding is probably going to be about a week, maybe a give or take, and that's going to be more on the SBA's part than anything having to do with the lender or with Amanda and the work she does. It's going to be about a week. Okay.
You just said getting the funds, is it within a week or actually?
Yeah, once you get your approval number, yes. It's going to take about 3 days or so to get the approval number, give or take a day or two, and then it's going to probably take another 3 or 4 days to get funded from what the lenders are telling us.
Nice.
So figure about a little over a week to 10 days and you should be funded.
All right, 2 weeks to just so you guys don't go crazy.
and we're trying to keep you updated every step of our process. So we'll say, hey, we received your application. It's we need more information, or it's in approval, waiting to get submitted to the lender. And then once it's submitted to the lender, we will give you an update that it's submitted and what to expect as updates from the lender. So we're trying to get you guys to keep everyone up to speed on where you're at.
Okay, still need 2020 941s if I use 2019 940 for calculation.
Yes.
Okay, this one for profit and loss 2019, does it have to be second quarter 2019 or
nope.
It
can be whatever quarter. Yeah, it can be whatever quarter that is where you can find that differential of a 25% or more of a reduction quarter after over quarter. So if your Q3 2020 was bad, then use that. If your Q1 was bad, use that. So look at your financials and figure out which of those 2020 quarters was your worst quarter, and then compare it to 2019.
I took over a retail store in July 2020. Am I qualified for PPP?
Did they receive PPP 1?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That's my question. Yeah, I didn't apply for the round 1. So am I eligible for applying?
Not if you bought the company in July 2020, no, you would not be eligible. You have to own the company before February 15, 2020.
Okay, got you. All right.
Okay, so we have Amanda did share the link, guys. Make sure to go onto the chat box, save that link. However, it's 2 o'clock. Amanda, I'm gonna let you go. We have Joe.
Okay.
You guys can stay. You stay. If not, it's okay. We will probably arrange another meeting. And Joe has been so diligently answering all our questions all the time. But I think there's a lot of questions anyway.
Champagne, make sure that everybody knows they can reach on WeChat as well, and I'll answer them. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna add, yep.
Yeah, make sure you add me to your WeChat new group so I can answer those questions.
Yep, we will. So we're gonna add Joseph Amato into our group chat so you guys can have, I think Joseph should be running for United States president now. The way he's
There you
so
go.
hands-on. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Yep. Bye.
And
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to continue with this. Can we get the first draw? So Amanda also shared the first draw already. Can I use all 1099Ks that I received, like from Square? My company is an LLC. Did Joe just leave too? Oh man, we got Joe left already. Okay, I'm gonna double check on you about the 1099K. I was very certain about 1099s. I think 1099Ks are okay too, but let me double check, okay? We're gonna save this nice question. You guys already have all the links out there. What else? Let me see. Can I use my income statements from Square credit card? That's a really good way to do for your grocery receipts if you have less income. LLC use 1099 form too. Is it same for sole proprietor? I'm not exactly sure what that question is, James Shen. Probably need to clarify that. If the person haven't applied for first draw, can they apply for? So Nikki asked that question. No, you can only, if you haven't applied for the first draw, you can only qualify for one, and the only one that you can apply for is the first draw. But for applying as first draw, you do have priority. Anyone who put in an application as first draw, you have higher priority than the second draw. Amanda shared her email as well, but don't overwhelm these emails. I think it makes a lot more sense for you to be applying applications or connecting with her in terms of strategy questions. For the first draw, I haven't got the email to apply for loan forgiveness. Where can I apply? So we did answer earlier for PPP loan forgiveness. Probably it's a good idea to hold on the loan forgiveness, apply for PPP2 first. There's a lot of tax benefits for doing it later anyways. So I hope that answers. Can I use year-to-date gross receipt and divide it by 4 to show 25% down? I think the best way to go is select a quarter. So if you already have gross receipts, separate, find out these dates, use Excel sheet, do it in from time to time, whichever quarter is more better for you. Just find out whatever, as long as you could show there's 25% or more reduction. If one of my business was just opened recently, like a month ago, can I apply for a second draw, or do I have to apply for first draw? So just like what Joe has said earlier, if you had applied for PPP1 already, then possibly if you're just a new business and never applied for PPP1, you cannot. Min said a wonderful thank you letter to Amanda and Joe. If I have a 1099 for real estate commission and I incorporate for S Corp for payroll distribution and tax with blah, 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 would it be more beneficial for me to use W-2? Whichever one that gets you more money, Min, probably your 1099 is going to get you more because you could automatically get like $20,833 and you split with Champagne. Thank you very much. I just did the math for you, Min, how much you would qualify for. Gross receipts, all revenue come from any source, correct? Like Square, yes, like Square or credit card company, yes. Well, that's a question more like for 1099K, if you're trying to get the higher value. So I want to double check. One year, we'll get back to you. I should use all my first PPP loan. Should I used all my first PPP loan. Should I start doing loan forgiveness application or should I wait? Katie Zhang, please wait and then apply for the second draw because you don't want to hold. If you apply for loan forgiveness right now, your PPP2 may be on hold. My company is handling event management because of that, all my employees are part-timers and we didn't have any activities at all 2020 because no big gatherings and no revenues for can I still apply? So based on the rule, if you're part-timers, 2 part-timers equals 1. You just have to. That is a question you probably want to double check with Amanda, but normally it's 2 part-timers equals 1. And as long as you can fulfill the 60-40 rule, then you technically would qualify. And as long as your business still still in function, then yes, you should be able to apply. Expected turnaround time after submitting okay, the turnaround time according to Joe is around 1 week, but I said, probably better to do 2 weeks just so you don't keep bothering Amanda. If she answered that question, she's taking time from processing your application. So be careful with, rushing her. If I didn't get the first draw and I apply for that, no second draw. Okay, so if you didn't apply the first draw, you missed out the opportunity and you can qualify for one PPP. I am helping my friend to ask this question. What about people who have their restaurants closed in 2020? Can they apply? So according to Joe, if the restaurant closed in 2020 and they're planning to start another business or start a business again, then technically they could. So do you mean not even apply for PPP loan forgiveness now, or just go, yeah, I want to confirm and remind, apply for PPP 2 first. Just apply for PPP 2. We will let you know when loan forgiveness starts, because we're waiting for all the information. SBA is not ready for it. A lot of lenders are not ready for it. Hold your horses, not a rush. Okay, Famay just shared, NAIC code is on your tax return. Go find it, guys. Talk to your accountant. Where do I apply for PPP loan forgiveness? If you need help, we connect with our group. We can help you, but not now. Apply for PPP 2. Quinn, please give me info where I can order articles of organization. Okay, lunch for Quinn.
I sent it already.
Quinn just sent it. So, yep. Okay, what is the annual gross 2020? What if the annual gross is 2020 blah? But okay, so the question is, what if the annual gross of 2020 is greater than 2019, but one of the quarter shows less, more than 25% reduction? The answer is, they're not asking for your annual gross 2020. They're asking you for one of those quarters that you can compare with 2019. As long as you can show 25% reduction, you are qualified. That is the qualifying question. If I do 1099, do we need to get article of organization? I don't think if you're 1099, I don't think there's article of organization unless you have established an organization. Okay. What is the WeChat link? Let me show our WeChat link real quick again. Bam, there's our WeChat link, and we're gonna add Joseph Amato in here in case people have questions as well. And for English speakers, feel free to add my Facebooks, so that and please notify you got my information from the PPP event, because I don't add random people. Yeah. Okay, and what else? Yes, let me get into the chat here. Okay. If people apply for PPP 1, do they also need to show 25% drop, or this required? Yeah, so the 25% sales drop is the only requirement for PPP 2. Okay, okay. Quinn already shared. In order to get article of incorporation, use the link Quinn shared, $3, Sole proprietors use 1099 to fill one employee only. If, sole use 1099 fill one employee only if PPP. LLC use 1099 have to fill one employee only. Can I fill multiple employees? I'm not exactly understanding that question there. So do I apply for the second PPP, second round PPP, and hold off on loan forgiveness? Yes, I want to say many times, please hold off on the loan forgiveness and apply for PPP 2. Thank you for sharing great info today. I came in late before. May I know that I can compare the quarter 2019 and quarter 2020? which was closed in April of quarter is eligible. So if you're comparing quarter 2019, quarter 2020, that is a valid comparison. And second quarter is April to June. That is the dates. I am working on the application. Do I have to attach 2941 and 202940? If you're doing it, I guess you need to, but probably important to ask. I started December 2019. How do I calculate 20%? What is okay, very good. This is a question I asked for you guys last night. So if your business started December 2019, and as long as it started before February 15, 2020, then you could use your first quarter, or you could even use your quarter 4 of 2019 compared to any of the quarters in 2020. So if you have started your business very late, you have a little bit of an advantage there. There you go. So, Yin Lee said the link says it's required, so share that. So if you're an independent contractor, you don't have a 940, 941, right? Like, on a Word document, say not applicable and upload that in a DocuSign. That would work very well. Okay, I think I answered that. What if the business closed on quarter 2 of 2019? In comparison to what? So if your business closed in 2019 and you don't have another business started, you're probably not. But if you want more, add our WeChat group or our Facebook Messenger, and we will get back to you. So we just had a great session. Hope everybody had a great time here, and hope we were able to create a lot of value for you guys. And then for the Chinese group, we will be arranging another session just in Chinese, so everyone have a better idea, because I know there's a lot of language barrier here. So Quinn and I will do another session in Chinese, probably one of these 2 days. We will hop on. And so all of you guys, have a great day. Thank you very much for stopping by, and thank you for giving us the time to share with you. Check us out, and we do have a few more events coming up, so make sure to add us, and we will share with you any events, all the great news about saving money, growing money, all of that. Okay, I think we're done. Yes, the YouTube is already shared.